Joined by Shane Richardson. Richo, we've been down here. You've been down here many times over many years. You've worn many hats over the years, but you're back to where it basically all began.
Yeah, I have, mate. It's a strange club, East, and how long I've been involved with them, from right through from coaching through to administration, etc. But it's always been a really well-run club, and it taught me a lot about running a professional organisation properly, because really there's no difference between running East and running Cronulla or Penrith or South, and the same principles were involved. The only difference is you've always got the emotion of football,
Yeah, and obviously it was a good grounding for you then to continue on your career in those senior roles down in New South Wales?
Yeah, it did. People forget what we were like in the late 80s. I mean, the Brisbane Broncos had come in, our crowds had crashed, we were on the bottom of the ladder. I was a reserve grade coach, and I was the champion coach of the season. We won 2 games. We beat Ipswich twice to make so we didn't win the wooden spoon. Then obviously we were financially struggling when they were going to bring the poker machines in. There was an argument about whether we bought them in or not, which was ludicrous. But at the end of the day, we had an AGM, and I got voted in, and we got poker machines and have a look at the magnificent league clubs. And not because of Shane Richardson, but because of the want of the administration and the way it's run. So it was they were halcyon days, and then we went on to bring the great Des Morris back from Wynnum. That was about talking to Faye about it, actually, more than Des, because she wasn't keen for him to come back up what they did to him. And then he took over as coach, and then we put Leggy in. Of course, you were a major part of all that rattle. So there was a great period of time, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, and that we had a lot of success down here. Richo, you mentioned back here, we're here celebrating the opening of this magnificent facility. It's come a long way over the years.
Yeah, it has, but we've always never been a club that spent money when we didn't have it. And some of the great clubs that I knew growing up, like the mighty Leprechaun Brothers and Fortitude Valley, which was my original club when I was a kid. I can still sing the song about Newman Oval. But the bottom line was, though, that they spent more than they got, and we never did. So we always only spent what we had. We never had major loans, and it was a really well-run club, which they alluded to today. But going forward, the foresight of this current board and Brian and his team have got us to this magnificent stage today, where there is no doubt, and I've travelled the whole of Australia and been to every ground in rugby league. The most beautiful ground in rugby league is the Clovelly Crocodiles, but that's because of where it is. The best ground in rugby league by a mile is Eastern Suburbs. And he didn't get enough mentions today, but you and I both were involved with the mighty Macca. What he's done here is quite amazing. And to think he's come from playing for Eastern first grade grand finals to be in the groundsman here, that gives you the idea of the tradition of the club and how we always take care of our own. So it's a great tribute to everybody in the club that we're here today. And it is, no doubt, the best ground in Australia, outside of professional clubs, and it's better than most of the professional clubs.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. You mentioned in the course there of the honour that's been bestowed on Des. He's been here for many years. Obviously, the great honour of naming the grandstand after Des Morris, OAM, is a fitting tribute for his involvement here at the club over many decades.
Yeah, look, he's a top tiger. That's the bottom line, isn't he? He's always been a top tiger. He's got a little cub running around him all the time called John Lang, but he's the top tiger. And at the end of the day, Des gives everything he's got to rugby league, and it always has done, probably more than he should have in some ways, and from a business point of view, etc., etc. But the one thing about Des is, because he's the man he is, he just makes everybody a friend as well. You wouldn't want to cross him, and I've got a few players I can name been knocked out in toilets, so I wouldn't want to cross him. But at the end of the day, he's a man of principle, and he's honest, and he's loyal. And there's, in this day and age of the game, they're very few and far between. Our great 83 side, great 92 side, 91, 92, 93, you guys are still mates today because they had quality human beings like Tricky Dowden and Ian Staines and yourself and even Bruce Crosby. But the bottom line about it is that there's this camaraderie within this club that lasts for longer. And when we came back this year, I came back to get involved with on the football side about trying to make sure we can win some premierships. It's right, we've played 9 in 30 years. But what you failed to say is we haven't won one. And there was a coach there that got to a grand final, never won one. Was it you there?
A couple.
Yeah, but you've got to get to them to win them. You can't win them without getting to them. My point about it is though, is that you've got to be ruthless to win premierships, whether it be, and Redcliffe have been ruthless for years and years. It's made them. It's why it's made them the most unpopular Queensland Rugby League club in the comp. By far, unpopular press, but they were ruthless. They were successful, and they won. We are the nicest people in the world, which is great. But if you want to win, you've got to be ruthless, and that's what we're going. We're getting our real claw in our paw as Tigers, and you know, I think we may not win it this year, but we'll push it hard. But in the years to come, we'll be right up there with the best.
And the squad this year, just going on to current times, is going quite well in the competition. You had a little bit to do with some input into the development of that squad. Yeah,
look, we cleaned out 80% of the players. That's the bottom line. We've got 20% of the players only left. Yep. I mean, you got to have a winning mentality. You know, I see. You know, it's quite funny. You know, you see a bloke like Bennett King, and you look at him and you go, you know, he's a crazy wild man with hair. And mate, no one is more passionate about winning. He's sick to death of not winning something. Yep. He's 34 years old. He ain't going to be around for 100 years like you, Rattles. Yep. At the end of the day, he got to win one. And mate, you need people like him. So you've got a leadership group of him, a leadership group of the North second row. I'm just flipped my mind at the moment. The Polynesian second row. He's a really good player. We bought in the Pulu. Yep. We bought in the fullback, who's just a winner and a junior, by the way, and Riley Jack. So there's a four. But under that, there's this huge group of young blokes who just doesn't know what it's like to lose and want to win. And they know that by winning they can reward Riley Jackson and that Pulu and these guys, and at the same time they reward themselves, because as you know, when we won the grand final in '92, half the team disappeared to Sydney clubs. We hadn't made that grand final, mate. They wouldn't have disappeared. So I just think it's a good formula. I love the club. We've got magnificent facilities. No reason why we can't be successful. And we are the best club in the game, rugby league outside of the NRL, and we're better than 10 of the 16 clubs in the NRL.
Rich, your passion for the game is unrivalled. It's been great talking to you here this afternoon, mate. Continue on with the good work. All the best in the future, and we'll catch up for a beer.
Excellent, buddy. I love a beer. We'll be in for that. Don't bring Stainsy, though.
He's a grog monster. Just stay here for a second.
Oh, we're going to stay here.